Hello everyone, warm welcome to EduTab and welcome to the Union Budget video. So guys, in this video I am going to discuss, so myself Ritika and I am your mentor for current affairs part for your examinations of RB Grade B, NABARD Grade A, right? So guys, today I am going to discuss with you Union Budget 2021-22 from the point of examination, right? Our focus would be on the demand of the examination from the budget, right? We have already discussed economic survey in a video and I hope that you have liked that video, you have appreciated that, right? So let's start with the budget one. I'll try to discuss the things which you should be knowing related to a budget as a layman, but our focus would be on the demand of the examination, right? Because that is why we are covering the budget most of all. So before we proceed, yes, I would request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the bell button so that you do not miss out on the daily videos which are being provided by us. And do join our Telegram channel. The link of the Telegram channel is in the description of this video. So you just need to go there, click on the channel link and join. And this way you can make avail of the daily PDFs, daily content which we are posting free of cost, which will be helpful for examinations of RB Grade B, NABARD Grade A, as well as for the other examinations wherever like all these contents are useful. So yes, very important thing. NABARD Grade A 2020 results have been announced and EduTab is blessed to announce that 65 students out of 69 are from EduTab. So these students are associated to EduTab and they have confirmed that they've got selected in NABARD Grade A. So this is our Hall of Fame. We are really blessed to have such hardworking students associated with us and we try to guide them to the best we can. And we also wish that the students like you can soon come up in this Hall of Fame, right? So let's just start. So guys, coming to Union Budget 21-22. To see here, Nirmala Sitharaman ji standing with a red cover, red tablet in her hand. This is a case of a tablet, along with the Minister of State Anurag Thakur ji, right? So guys, this year's budget was delivered very first time in the paperless form. So basically the spirit of digital India was exhibited. Swadeshi Bahi Khata, which was launched by Nirmala Sitharaman ji only in the year 2019, has now been replaced with the tablet. So basically digital Bharat ko pehchan di gayi hai fir se, and the budget was very first time launched in a paperless form. So this is important, like very minor questions, but in phase 1 such things can be asked, right? So a budget mobile app was also launched for the first time and the app has been developed by National Informatics Center and it has been done with the support of Department of Economic Affairs. So you have to know that who has developed this app, with the support of whom, right? So this is about the background of the budget. You see smiling faces, they are releasing the budget. And one important thing I've mentioned here, that prior to 2019, the Bahi Khata thing, the budget used to come up, budget used to be presented in the briefcase. So if you remember, finance ministers coming up with a briefcase and presenting, leather briefcase and presenting the budget, this was replaced in 2019 with the Bahi Khata. Showing the Swadeshi spirit, and this year they say that we are Swadeshi but we are digital also. So they came up with this paperless form, right? So this is the background. Now coming to the budget, guys, in this video I am gonna discuss with you the 6 pillars on which this budget is framed. Then in each pillar I'll discuss the important initiatives that have been announced or have been taken already, and then guys later on I'll also take you to the important figures that you need to keep in mind, which are related to the GDP growth the budget is mentioning, or the revenue expenditure allocations. So the key figures would be at the end, right? You need to just remember those figures. I'll just explain, right? So starting with the 6 pillars wala thing. So this year's budget, guys, is based on 6 pillars. You need to know all these 6 pillars by heart, right? Very first is health and well-being. Of course, we cannot forget in the corona times, so health has become the top priority, right? So health and well-being, followed by physical infrastructure. So physical infrastructure includes your financial infrastructure also, physical and financial infrastructure we can call it. Then innovation and R&D. So this has also been the pillar of this budget, followed by inclusive growth. So growth of all, this is very important. Again, we have realized that everyone needs to grow, everyone should be growing in our economy, although this has been the focus of our economy hamesha se, but this year the pillar has been based. फिर fifth is of course Modi ji की government है, तो minimum government and maximum governance तो would be there. This is again a pillar. Last is human capital. So human capital, health and well-being, and inclusive growth. These are the three things you can keep in mind, that these are our realizations from the corona times, that health and well-being should be there. Everyone should have the opportunity to grow. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that lockdown लग गया कुछ लोग सड़क पे ही रह गए. No, they should also be like include करो ना उनको भी. And then human capital, of course. So these are the three things you have to keep in mind. Apart from these, physical financial infrastructure, innovation or minimum governance. So these three thoda governance wale parameters, right? So these are the 6 pillars. Please keep them in mind. Question can be framed that which one of the following is not a pillar of the union budget, or which of the following in combination are the pillars of union budget, right? Chalo, moving to pillar 1, health and well-being, very important. So substantial increase in the investment in health infrastructure by the union budget. So you see, they say that in the coming year 21-22 we are gonna increase our health expenditure by 137%. This is the budget says, right? तो 2021 का जो budget estimate है उससे 137% higher. This is the budget estimate. So BE is the term which is used for budget estimate. RE is for revised estimate, which is probably, this is at the time of presenting budget they feel that they are gonna do, but RE means that in actual this will be done, right? And actuals, this thing represents that this is the actual figure done. So BE, RE and actuals, these are the three terms you will probably see then and now. So RE is the revised one, which let's say that I feel if I am making a budget for a week, let's say for my shopping thing, so I'll make that this is the budget I would want to spend, but when I go to the marketplace I feel no, this I need, this is probably a good offer, I will not get this offer again, so I spend more, right? I try to spend more. That on an estimate I feel that let's say 2000 was my budget, but I can exceed it by 500, right? So 2500 I spend, but when I come home and calculate all the bills I realize that I have spent 3500, let's say. So that is the actuals, what have I done, because in the market I was just spending, I was feeling this is under my budget, I'm just exceeding it by few things. So these are the three terms which you'll see in the budget wala thing, right? But of course not you just do not need to remember like this what is the BE exact figure, but it will be good for you at least for the upcoming year, like this year you remember this. Okay, 137% increase, and this spending is going to be based on again 4 parameters, which are Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, vaccines, nutrition and universal coverage of water supply and Swasth Bharat mission. So Atmanirbhar is basically the keyword of this year, I feel, right? Self-reliance Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana was launched. Under it, this Swasth Bharat Yojana has been announced. So these are the 4 things on which this year's budget of health is going to be around, right? Let's discuss these 4 things. So first of all, PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. So it's a centrally sponsored scheme, right? Central sponsored and central sector, these are the 2 schemes in which the government basically spends. Central sector is the one in which every like it is dependent on the central government completely. Central sponsored is the one जिसपे sharing रहती है central and state governments की. So this is a central sponsored scheme. The outlay for 6 years is 64,180 crore. Now do you need to remember this figure and this year? Yes, you need to. These are the questions that are asked in the examination of our RBI and NABARD specifically. ठीक है? So this is the layout, and it says that the main intervention of the scheme says that they are going to support more than 17,000 urban health 17,000 health and wellness centers, 17,788 and 11,000 urban health centers. So these will be supported. Then they say that integrated public health labs will be set up, because we have realized in these times that labs are not there. Forget the rural areas, in urban areas also there are no proper labs, so those will be set up. Critical care health blocks will be set up, emergency operation centers would be there, and the most important thing, guys, a national institution for One Health will be set up. It is One Health, that means one national digital health mission has also been in news a lot, right? That we want to create one ID for everyone, so that everything is integrated in one portal. So an institution on those lines is also going to be set up. Then a regional research platform for WHO Southeast Asia region will also be set up, followed by the laboratories. So under this Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, all these things will be done. Health centers would be developed, labs would be developed, operation centers, One Health institutions, right? Then NCDC, जो National Center for Disease Control है, strengthening of that will also be done, right? Then expansion of the integrated health information portal to all the states, so basically to all public health labs, so that basically one health portal is there in which all the labs are associated. So you have your ID and you can just check all over India what are the labs which are connected to it and what is the patient getting tested through. Okay, so these are the basic things which have been mentioned in the Pradhan Mantri Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, right? Then this Yojana, guys, very important thing, it will develop capacities of primary, secondary and tertiary healthcare systems. So this also can be a question, that this is like giving the focus on primary only, secondary only, or all three. So all the national institutions will be strengthened, new institutions would be set up, and new and emerging disease will also be catered to at the primary, secondary and tertiary level, right? This Yojana. Then, guys, important thing, this is in addition to the National Health Mission. It will not be a part of it, it will not be subsumed under National Health Mission, rather it will be a separate Yojana, right? Coming to the second point, that is vaccines. So vaccine को provision of 35,000 crore has been given COVID-19 के लिए. PCV vaccine, pneumococcal vaccine, a made in India product is going to be rolled out. This is also important. This is the first indigenous product which has been launched by Serum Institute, Pune based wala, Adar Pune wala. So that is a news a lot, that you should know that vaccines have been given this much amount. And PCV is for what purpose? This you have pneumococcal, pneumonia ke liye hai. From the name itself you can keep in mind pneumococcal, right? So 137% budget ka, this I have already told you in the first slide itself, right? Okay, under the health well-being wala part only, this is Swachh Bharat Swasth Bharat Yojana. So Urban Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0, the second edition of the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban will be implemented, and allocation बहुत ज़्यादा है. You can see here in crores, 5 years starting from 21-26, right? So 1,41,678 crore rupees has been allocated for this Urban Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. Do you need to keep this a figure in mind? Yes, you need to, my dear friends, right? And what all will be done under this Swachh Bharat wala thing? It is related to urban swachhata, so the things like source segregation of garbage, fecal sludge management, then reduction in single-use plastic, air pollution को reduce करना है, then bioremediation. तो bioremediation is basically making use of the environment-friendly techniques to get rid of the waste, etc. So all these things, so basically all urban things we can say will be used in this Urban Swachh Bharat Mission. Right, apart from this Jal Jeevan Mission Urban, earlier it used to be National Drinking Water Wala Mission, now it is called Jal Jeevan Mission. It is now for urban specifically going to be launched for universal water supply. Here also the allocation is 2,87,000 crore rupees for a span of 5 years. So water supply, Swachh Bharat, clean air, garbage free, cities should be there. These are all under health and well-being, apart from your Pradhan Mantri Swasth Bharat Abhiyan wala thing, right? Moving to, guys, pillar 2, Swachhata, Swasth, health centers. These are under one pillar. Coming to pillar 2, this is physical infrastructure and financial capital. So financial infrastructure is also a part of this only. So guys, in the budget it has been mentioned that for India to become US dollar 5 trillion economy, our trillion is lakh crore, right? 5 lakh crore rupees wala cheez, theek hai? Our manufacturing sector has to grow in double digits on a sustained basis. So physical infrastructure we talk about, so it has been mentioned starting off with that double digit growth should be there in the manufacturing sector. This year though we have covered in the survey, we have, I think you must have seen the economic survey wala video by EduTap. If not, I would suggest you to see that, because we have there mentioned that agriculture has been the silver lining in this COVID wala time, right? But if you want to become such US dollar 5 trillion economy, our manufacturing sector has to grow. For this, our companies need to become an integral part of global supply chains. They should possess core competence and they should have technology, which we are lacking. So for keeping all these things in mind, PLI schemes were launched. So PLI schemes to create manufacturing global champions for Atmanirbhar Bharat have been announced for 13 sectors. How many sectors? It was actually for 10 earlier. I think then it has been extended for 13. Anyhow, that does not make a lot of difference. Rather, you have to know for how many sectors is it now, PLI scheme, right? And for this particular scheme, government has committed 1.97 lakh crore in the next 5 years. So obviously this budget starting from 21-22, for upcoming 5 years we announced that in this scheme we are going to do this, right? So this you have to know. Now, what all other initiatives have been announced, like keeping manufacturing and all those things in mind? So guys, Mitra scheme is the new scheme which has found mention. This is Mega Investment Textiles Parks. So Mitra is the scheme for textile sector. It aims to make the textile industry globally competitive. It aims to make textile sector attractive so that large investment can come in, and of course boosting employment generation, because our economy is a lot dependent on MSMEs, MSMEs are basically the backbone of our manufacturing sector of our economy. That was hit very badly in this COVID wala time. So keeping that in mind, textiles mein MSMEs are involved. बहुत ज़्यादा MSMEs are involved in textile wala thing, right? So keeping that in mind, this scheme has been announced. It says that a world-class infrastructure with plug and play facilities, so that global champions can emerge. Plug and play basically means that the setup is there, they have the technology, the cutting edge technology, and they can make use of it, that it can be switched on quickly. 7 textile parks under this Mitra scheme are going to be established over 3 years. Do you need to keep this thing in mind? How many textile parks? Yes, you need to. How many years? 3 years. What is the full form of Mitra? What is the aim of it? All these things are important. Questions are framed on these things, my dear friends. ठीक है. अच्छा, yes, this Mitra is in addition to the PLI वाला scheme, जो 1.94 lakh वाला PLI था. In addition to it, this Mitra is going to be launched. So PLI is for 13 sector and this Mitra is exclusively for textile sector. ठीक है. Okay, coming to infrastructure part now. I'm sorry. So NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline, was announced I think around September month, that such a pipeline is going to be established. So now it is going to be expanded to 7,400 projects. So it will need funding, right? And for this, for the funding thing, they say that a bill to set up Development Financial Institution, DFI, is going to be launched, is going to be released basically. So these are the keywords of your budget, guys. NIP, what is it? National Infrastructure Pipeline. What is DFI? Development Financial Institution, for the purpose of giving push to infrastructure sector only. So 20,000 crore is going to be its provision, right? Similarly, on the lines of NIP, NMP is also mentioned. NMP was not a term which was seen earlier. NIP was announced in September 2020 itself. But NMP is the new term mentioned in the budget. It is National Monetization Pipeline. So monetizing assets is basically the focus of the government. Although jo log hain, the people, they are not in favor of it, that the government is monetizing by selling the assets and all. ऐसी बातें की जा रही हैं. But of course we do not need to go in that aspect कि लोग क्या कह रहे हैं और what is it. Rather we have to focus on what government is trying to do through this budget part, right? So under this NMP, few measures are NHAI and PGCIL have been sponsored one INVIT. तो INVIT and REIT दो चीज़ें होती हैं, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट वाला जो रहता है और रियल एस्टेट वाला. So both NHAI and PGCIL have sponsored one INVIT. Railway is going to monetize your dedicated freight corridors for operations. Yes, railway has been given a push in this budget. We will discuss about that. So next, lot of airports will also be monetized for operations and management concession. तो ये जो privatization of airports की भी करने वाले हैं, all these are going to be a part of this, right? Then sharp increase in capital budget. The budget estimate says BEC, the word I told you in the beginning, 5.54 lakh crore, which is higher than previous year का budget estimate 34.5%. So basically वही capital जो है उस पे focus is being done by the government. So 3 parameters under infrastructure I can tell you is, the most important is NIP, right? Under it says that steps which are going to be taken. Very first is DFI, NMP and then capital budget increment. So NIP ऊपर you can write, then followed by under it this DFI 20,000 crore wala, फिर NMP के sub steps are also given here, then sharp increase. So these are the things under infrastructure sector that have been informed in the budget. Okay, then guys, specific mentions of different sectors given in the infrastructure wala part are these. I am going to discuss with you thoda bahut about each and every sector. First is road and highway infrastructure, then railway, port shipping, waterway, urban infrastructure, power infrastructure. So these are the major sectors which have been discussed in this budget. Starting with railway infrastructure, guys. So National Rail Plan for India 2030 has been announced in the budget to create a future-ready railway system by the year 2030. So 2030 is the year to attain the Sustainable Development Goals. The government says till the time we will attain our SDGs, we will also make our railways ready. National Rail Plan, so that people can take benefit of SDGs. Like this is I am telling you probably that this is the thinking of the government. It is not like, you know, this is not the fact mentioned by them. Just keep in mind 17 SDGs 2030 hai, to National Rail Plan also 2030. So Western DFC and Eastern DFC, they are to be commissioned by June 2022. So basically to bring down the logistic costs. The transportation of the goods is not so good in India. The transportation cost is too high. In India, the transportation is done through roads, which is actually not good. It should be. The cheap thing is the transportation of large goods should be done through railways. So, but we do not have that much capacity. We are trying to increase so that logistic cost decreases, right? Then they say 100% electrification of broad gauge routes will be completed by 2023. So DFC, EFC will be made by 2022. Electrification of broad gauge, narrow gauge routes रहते हैं. तो ब्रॉड गेज की जो इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन है बाय 2023 विल बी डन. एंड ऑफ कोर्स नेशनल रेल प्लान है टू मेक फ्यूचर रेडी. हाउ दिस फ्यूचर रेडी विल बी डन, this has not been explained completely, but still steps are being taken to make railway electrified, then to bring down the logistic costs, new railway lines to be set up. So all these things under railway infrastructure. And of course they say that aesthetically designed Vista Dome coach will be there. Indigenously developed train, Atmanirbhar banana hai, to indigenous has to be there. So this is under railway infrastructure, right? Taking you to road and highways, so they say that for the very first time, the highest outlay has been given to the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, 1,18,101 crore rupees allotted. So because this is the highest ever outlay, so that is why it's better for you to keep this figure in mind. Road and highways infrastructure, right? Expressways to be built and all such things will be done. Metal roads would be built. Then port shipping waterways, of course logistics we are focusing. So a scheme to provide subsidy support to Indian shipping companies is going to be floated by the ministries, basically to promote the merchant ships in India. 1,624 crore rupees will be provided over 5 years time period. So employment opportunities to be created, logistic cost to be decreased, all these things will be done under it, right? Then they also say, guys, recycling of ships. This is also important. India has enacted this Recycling of Ships Act 2019. This was again done last year, but because it is mentioned in the budget, so we need to know it. Hong Kong International Convention, this is related to the recycling of ships. Keeping that in mind, India has acceded to it, and that is why they have enacted that this Recycling of Ships Act 2019. So ये जो bill है, it has been now passed, and they say that under recycling wala part, to bring more ships to India from Europe and Japan will be our focus in the coming years. Recycling capacity to be doubled by the year 2024, and additional jobs of 1.5 lakh. So guys, the budget ka focus, the major focus is in what? To spend. The government basically tells in the budget that what are they going to receive and what do they expect to, what are they planning to spend, and why would they need to spend? For generating employment, right, to human capital, infrastructure, all these things long term, and of course the day-to-day expenditure is also there, paying salaries, pensions, all those things. So all that is done in the budget. So the focus is basically to develop infrastructure, to generate employment, to generate assets wherein we can get something in future. So the way we plan for, like, you get salary or you get your monthly income, you plan for a month, right? The same way government plans, right, for the upcoming year. Okay, coming to urban infrastructure, we have urban and power infrastructure, because we have discussed railway, then we have discussed roads, and even shipping wala part. Now urban infrastructure, then we will discuss power wala part, right? So for an urban infrastructure, guys, a new scheme of rupees 1000 crore has been announced. This is for augmentation of public bus transport services. So to augment the transportation service in the urban areas, scheme of rupees 1000 crore has been announced. So to boost the automobile sector, to provide fillip to the economic growth, and to create employment opportunities. Two new technologies have found mentioned in the budget, guys. You should know what are these: Metro Lite and Metro Neo. So basically these are for what? To bring the metro at lesser cost with the same experience and safety in tier 2 cities also. So these are the Metro Lite and Metro Neo which have been mentioned in the budget, that tier 2 cities and peripherals of tier 1 should also be connected. Government is anyhow doing it. Delhi ka hai, for example, if I take the example, so the peripheral areas of Delhi, of the nearby states like Haryana, they are also being connected through the metro. So Metro Lite and Metro Neo would be the lighter version. Just say FB Lite, Facebook Lite is the lighter version, it uses less data. Similarly, Metro Lite and Metro Neo to use the lighter version of the metros basically. Right, then cleaner air. To tackle air pollution, 2217 crore for 42 urban center with million plus population. Okay, this has been also mentioned that we are specifically allocating the budget for making air cleaner, to put less, make people less in pollution, air pollution, right? Scrapping policy, voluntary vehicle scrapping policy is also going to be launched. This will be for what? To phase out old and unfit vehicles. So voluntary, this would be that people should come up, they should feel that their vehicle is now causing actually a lot of harm to the environment rather than doing good to their personal thing. So fitness test will be done, that after 20 years in case of personal vehicles and 15 in case of commercial vehicles, it should go for the scrapping wala thing, right? So scrapping policy ho gaya. This is important. This is again found mentioned in the budget, so you should know it is a part of your urban infrastructure only. Then guys, taking you to power infrastructure. So if we talk about power infrastructure, a national hydrogen energy mission has been announced. So this is for 1 year only. Okay, this 21-22. This you have to keep in mind, that national hydrogen energy mission, because hydrogen is abundantly available, to make use of it for green power. This is the idea. E-vehicles that we are moving, right? So to make use of hydrogen, right, a framework to provide alternative to the consumers and the distribution company also. So revamped, reform based, result linked. So reform should also be there and result should also come. So outlay over 5 years is 3,05,984 crore rupees. So discoms, Uday scheme is there for discoms, right? So to help discoms, this is going to be there, right? So I think yes, that's it. You can keep these things in mind if you feel that you have enough time to revise again these things. These, like in past 6 years, 139 gigawatts of installed capacity have been added. Not very important these figures are. The most important ones I've put in this red block already, but still if you feel that you can keep in mind, then do keep them, right? So this was about your physical infrastructure under pillar 2. Now I would say second part of pillar 2 is your financial capital. So what under it government has suggested, let's see. So guys, in financial capital, single securities market code has been suggested. So they say that we are gonna bring out, consolidate different acts like SEBI Act of 1992, Depository Act, then SEBI Contract Regulation Act, Government Securities. So all these act will be consolidated together under the single market code. So there will be a single code for security markets, and all the acts which are currently going on, new and old, will be clubbed together, right? Now, development of a fintech hub, world-class fintech hub at GIFT IFSC. So India's first IFSC is GIFT City Center, which is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. So it is going to be developed fintech hub as a world-class one. Then permanent institutional framework to be created to purchase investment grade debt securities both in stressed and normal times. So institutional framework permanent should be there. Then warehousing development and regulatory authority is going to be strengthened up so that commodity market ecosystem can be strengthened up, right? Investor charter for investor protection. So under the financial capital, again, making one single security market code, investor protection is there, permanent institutional framework is there, one IFSC we have. So strengthening the already existing thing and trying to bring out the new best possible things. This is what government is trying to do. Okay. So if we talk about disinvestment and strategic sales, guys, it says that government estimated that from disinvestment receipt is going to be this particular 1,75,000 crore. This is the estimated receipt from disinvestment only. So disinvestment is basically the money which government gets as the capital receipt. Why? Because the government is not doing disinvestment on a daily basis, right? Rather, disinvestment is a big deal and they get, it is a huge process. Air India ko dekho kab se they are trying to disinvest, right? Kab se they are trying to make it privatized but not able to do so. So it is a process which is time consuming, but when it is completed, a huge amount comes to the government. So government makes sure that the amount they receive from the disinvestment, they use it for building some capital only. ठीक है? So strategic disinvestment, they are planning for BPLC, Air India, I've already told you, Shipping Corporation, IDBI Bank also, BEML, Pawan Hans. So Pawan Hans wo IRCTC wala Pawan Hans this is. So all these they are planning to do by 21-22. Another very important thing is IPO of LIC. So this has also been in news, but they say that by the year 2022 they'll try to complete this IPO of LIC, right? So disinvestment of LIC also is going to be done. Then strategic disinvestment ke liye new policy will also be there. It has been approved by the government. And few other steps like Niti Aayog will work out on a list of CPSCs which should be strategically disinvested. Then incentivizing the states for their disinvestment. Basically privatization should be there, this government feels, right? So these are some of the steps which government is taking. Now these are good or not, that we cannot comment because that is not like for our examination thing. Although people are saying that this investment is not a good thing which BJP is doing, the current government, people are opposing, but again we are not like, you know, right for us to comment on that. So few or more things under the financial capital part of pillar 2 only, infrastructure ke alawa. very important, guys. Increasing FDI in insurance sector. So the FDI limit in insurance sector has been increased from 49% to 74%, and also allow the foreign ownership and control with proper safeguards. This is important. You can definitely expect a question on this particular sector, okay, that what amount is going to be there in MCQs wala part, so definitely. Then stressed asset resolution. So ARC Limited, asset reconstruction company, and asset management company, AMC and ARC are going to be set up for stressed asset resolution. To basically this concept of all bad bank, ARCs, all these to manage NPAs, stressed assets is there. Government says that we are determined that we will manage all these stress things. Then recapitalization of PSBs, guys. Recapitalization is basically providing pump to the public sector banks, providing money, capitalizing them. So 20,000 crore in the year 21-22, so that financial capacity can be increased. Although government is on a spree to merge different banks, right? So many banks are being merged in one bank. Again, this is being done like on the recommendations of various committees. So this is again the amount for this coming year, right? Then deposit insurance is also important, guys. Minimum loan size eligible for a debt recovery under Sarfazi Act is proposed to be reduced from rupees 50 lakh to 20 lakh for NBFCs. So NBFCs with a minimum asset size of rupees 100 crore, their minimum loan eligible size for debt recovery is going to be reduced from 50 lakh to 20 lakh, and this is going to be done under Sarfazi Act, which will be amended. So see, FDI has been increased, NPA tackling is being done, recapitalization, the needed thing is being done, and deposit insurance. So taking care of banks, NPAs, your depositors, and also increasing FDI. These are the 4 important things which have been announced in the budget. Okay, few things about companies specifically. So small companies, OPCs, LLPs, these are the 3 things which have been in news a lot, right? So I have summed up them here. To decriminalize is the thing which is to be going to be done. LLP Act 2008, it is going to be decriminalized. Then small companies, what are they going to do for it? They say that increasing their thresholds, this has been done, guys. Again, a question can be expected here. Please do not take this one lightly. They say that thresholds have been increased. Earlier it was from not exceeding rupees 50 lakhs. So the turnover was not exceeding 2 crore and not exceeding paid up capital 50 lakh, which has been increased to 50 lakh has been made 2 crore, 2 crore has been made 20 crore. So basically now, for a small company, the threshold for paid up capital has to be not exceeding rupees 2 crore and the turnover not exceeding rupees 20 crore. So this has been basically done again in favor of companies, so that the small companies can take the benefits which are provided by the government, right? Promoting startups and innovators, they have also said that they are going to incentivize OPCs, one-person companies. The one-person companies are the one which are companies but run by one person only, right? So entrepreneurship is basically being incentivized here. So these are the things related to company matters. This will probably be helpful for even your SEBI examination phase 2. Although current affairs were not important as per the trend of your phase 1, but still this is relevant, and of course for other exams, RBI NABARD also. Right, chalo, moving to pillar 3. So pillar 3 is what, guys? Innovation and R&D. So we have covered about health, then physical and financial wala infrastructure. Third pillar is innovation and R&D. So guys, first unmanned launch is going to be there in December 2021, they say. So Gaganyaan mission will be there. 4 Indian astronauts are currently being trained in Russia. So this is a typical GA question. We have been reading this a lot. NRF, National Research Foundation, with an outlay of 50,000 crore is going to be set up. So this NRF, if I talk about, guys, 1500 crore has been proposed, right, for schemes so that digital modes of payment can be there. Either 50,000 crore, under it says that 1500 crore for digital payment modes and national language transmission mission to make governance and policy related knowledge available in major Indian languages. So these are the two subparts of this National Research Foundation. Then Deep Ocean Mission of more than 4,000 crore. Then NSIL is the PSU of the Department of Space, and this is the commercial arm also. We can say that they are going to launch PSLV CS51 carrying Amazonia satellite from Brazil. So this is a GA question definitely, if not in phase 2, because directly it is not related to like phase 2 ka syllabus, so there's less probability than questions will be on these sets. But NRF is important for phase 2, right? Then this 1500 crore wala part, and of course these other things like Gaganyaan mission, first unmanned mission launch, NSIL, these are for phase 1 also, you must know, right? This was your pillar 3 innovation R&D. Coming to pillar 4 inclusive growth. So when we talk about inclusive growth, guys, 3 sectors again they have mentioned here. One is agri and fisheries. We have realized the importance of agriculture again. Then migrant workers and laborers, of course, as a part of inclusive growth. This is also our understanding from COVID times only. Then financial inclusion, guys. Again, this time it was realized. I'll give an example for you to understand financial inclusion more deeper. Why are they planning? See, Jan Dhan Yojanas were there, right? This account were opened, so the people, the laborers, let's say, they were living in cities. Now they have the account, right? They have the ATM card or something, but the account is opened in their bank, in their village, right? They have left the checkbook and all the things whatever like related to the account in their village only, and they are now living in cities. So the person is considered to be financially included but is not able to withdraw the money from the bank account because could not travel back because of the lockdown, right? No one could come here and he does not have the document, and the ones who have the document, they need his sign. So all such things were there in the lockdown. So keeping, the government has actually taken a note of all these things, and these 3 sectors have been given a push under pillar 4. Let's read about them. Agriculture, first of all, we talk about Swamitva scheme. It has been extended. Swamitva scheme is basically the property card scheme, the identification of your property card. So it has been now extended to all states and UTs. Operation Greens, it has been called like tops to total, right? Tomato, onion, potato, it used to be. Now it has been extended to 22 perishable products. Operation Green. Agri credit scheme has been enhanced to 16.5 lakh crore in this year. The focus is on animal husbandry, dairy and fisheries. Then ENAM scheme, guys. ENAM is basically a centralized mandi. So 1000 more mandis are going to be integrated under this ENAM so that more and more transparency can be there. Then guys, AIFs, so Agri Infrastructure Funds to APMCs for augmenting the infrastructure facilities. So they are saying that APMCs are going to be augmented through AIFs, Agri Infrastructure Funds. So these are the terms which have been mentioned in the budget. AIF, Swamitva scheme, ENAM, do read them. Read about them. Operation Green scheme, I would suggest this sector is now important for RBI also, because they have this year in the change syllabus, like not much changes apart from the pattern wala part. Obviously they've added this thing, union budget ka recommendations and your Indian agriculture wala part. So I would suggest all the students out there who are preparing for NABARD and RBI should read about these schemes in detail. Okay, this was about agri wala part. Moving to fisheries. So they say that 5 major fishing harbors are going to be set up. Fishing harbors ka honge Kochi, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Paradeep and Petua Ghat. So these are the 5 hubs which are going to be set up, and a multi-purpose seaweed park is going to be developed in Tamil Nadu. To promote the seaweed cultivation, this will be done. So fisheries and agri part given specific mention, and these are the things which were there, right? Coming to aapka labors, so migrant workers and laborers. So one nation one ration card implementation, it is already underway. That let's suppose a laborer lives in Maharashtra and has moved in search of new work opportunities, let's say, has moved to Andhra Pradesh. So the ration card is of Maharashtra. So the subsidized food he or she is eligible but cannot avail because they live in Andhra Pradesh now. They cannot go back every month to get the ration card to get their subsidized food. So to tackle that problem, this one nation one ration card was proposed. Now it is already being implemented that you have one ration card all over India. Anywhere you live, you can get that subsidized food grains through that particular card. So this is an appreciable scheme. It is being implemented. 32 states and UTs have already been integrated under it, and next few are also going to be done, right? Then it says that new portal, this is important guys, new portal to collect information on unorganized labor force, migrant workers especially, to help the schemes. So basically, guys, you see centralization of the information, that you have all the information at one place. This is what it is being suggested, that unorganized labor force ka protection should be there, all the data should be at one place. For labor codes, yes, new 4 labor codes were implemented, old were chucked up, so these already being implemented, and single registration and licensing. So all these things are being done for migrant laborers and workers. Then financial inclusion, guys. This is what has been specifically mentioned. Stand Up India scheme is a scheme for SC, STs and women. You should know Stand Up India scheme is a very important scheme. In each and every exam, if I remember, your UPSC Civil Services, UPSC EPFO exam, RBI, NABARD, all of these exams ask about such schemes. Stand Up India. It's a flagship scheme, guys, right? Skill India. No, not Skill India, sorry, Stand Up India scheme. So SC, ST and women, so they say that for the financial inclusion wala part, margin money requirement has been reduced to 15%, right? The loans for allied agri activities, earlier, this is a very important change. Earlier, allied agri activities was not involved in Stand Up India scheme, that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start your something, it should not be related to agriculture earlier, but now it has been included in it, that you can start for allied agri activities also. ठीक है, एग्री के लिए तो ऑब्वियसली नहीं, फिर स्टैंड अप इंडिया नहीं होगा अगर एग्रीकल्चर का काम करना है, पर उससे रिलेटेड कोई काम करना चाहते हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ओपनिंग अ पोल्ट्री फार्म और समथिंग लाइक दैट कैन बी डन. Then 15,700 crore budget allocation to MSME sector. So this is higher than last year. So 15,700 is the budget allocation for MSME under the financial inclusion wala part, right? So we've read about financial inclusion, migrant workers, laborers and agri and fisheries sector under your pillar 4 of inclusion, inclusive growth. Taking you to, guys, pillar 5, the favorite part of Modi ji and government, minimum government, maximum governance. Now this is what basically, guys, the idea is to centralize everything in terms of that all the things should be done in a transparent manner through online things, so that red tapeism is less, people involved in the chain are less, you do not have to approach to different babus, rather you can just log on to the website and get the details of things. So measures are being undertaken to bring reforms in tribunals so that speedy justice is provided. National Commission for Allied Healthcare Professionals already introduced to ensure the regulation of healthcare professionals. Then National Nursing and Midwifery Commission Bill has been introduced for nursing profession. And for first digital census in the history of India, 3,768 crore has been allotted. The last census was done in the year 2011. Every 10 years we do the census, right? This year, 2021 census is to be conducted, and guys, for the very first time it will be a digital census. So the first time digital census, first time census, first time digital budget. So these have been launched. So you have to keep this in mind, right? This can also be a probable question. अच्छा, coming to this only, minimum governance की बात अगर हम करें तो direct tax, they say that in the direct tax वाला part, relief to senior citizens has been provided, exemption from filing income tax returns from senior citizens who only have pension and interest income, they do not need to file their income tax. Then return filers have seen an increase Now, important thing is this one, guys. Establishment of a national faceless income tax appellate tribunal center. So faceless, that means you will not be told who you are, no one will be knowing you. So that means it will be a transparent process where you are not supposed that someone is biased against you. Okay? Then time limit for reopening of assessment has been reduced. Earlier it was 6 years, now it has been made 3 years. So this is about direct tax. Coming to labor welfare. Labor welfare, guys, is a part of your this wala thing, governance wala thing, not inclusive wala. Udhar alag tha, migrant workers tha, right? Coming to this, to ensure that employees' contributions are deposited on time, late deposit of employees' contribution shall never be allowed as deduction to the employer. Eligibility for claiming tax holiday has been extended. Capital gain exemption जो है in startups has also been extended. So 31st March next year. Tax holidays and capital gain exemption, this has been done. And gig workers, basically the ones who like आपके जो Uber drivers, Ola drivers रहते हैं, and your the delivery boys and girls, so they are also going to be helped through the budget. Gig economy it is called, right? Moving to the last pillar, which is human capital, the most important pillar, I would say. Reinvigorating human capital. So in this they have mentioned about school education, higher education. NEP was already launched, I think in the month of August it was launched, new education policy, so that has also been mentioned. Then they say that 100 new Sainik schools are going to be set up with NGOs and private schools. With private school states will be set up. 1500 schools, more than them, NEP will be implemented so that they can become exemplary for all others. Now 1500 and 15,000 schools, guys. So NEP has been mentioned. Sainik schools, now they are saying that in Sainik schools even girls can take admission. Earlier it was only for boys, starting from 6th standard. Coming to higher education, Central University in Leh is going to be set up for the very first time. This can also be an important question, that where the university is going to be set up. So Leh, the newly made UT. Higher Education Commission of India is going to be set up, and a grant to create umbrella structure for better research institutions. So all this under human capital. Human capital is what? The most important part of human capital is education. That is what being given thrust here. Another important part of education is skilling. So Skill India mission is very important, right? Every year question is asked. So let's see what budget is telling. It says that to amend the Apprenticeship Act with a view to enhance apprenticeship opportunities for our youth. The Apprenticeships Act is going to be amended. Then existing schemes of NATS, that is National Apprenticeship Training Scheme, is going to be realigned, and outlay of rupees 3000 crore for providing post-education apprenticeship, etc. Then guys, another initiative is underway which is in partnership with UAE to benchmark skill qualification, assessment and certification, accompanied by the deployment of certified workforce. So because a lot of people go there to work, so probably that is why they have chosen UAE. Then a inter-training program between India and Japan to transfer Japanese industrial and vocational skills. So with Japan, we want to get this transfer of skills, and with UAE, skill qualification assessment should be there, a benchmark, so that certified workforce is there. So this is all being done for skilling India. And education, I've already told you, the most important two aspects of human capital are education, skills, and of course your health. So health is a separate pillar, and health, education and skills are under human capital, right? So guys, now I will take you to key figures which you need to keep in mind after this discussion of 6 pillars. I hope now you understand what are the 6 pillars and different initiatives that have been mentioned under 6 pillars. They can form different questions. They're also a part of your current affairs, because somewhere or the other we have covered that NEP has been launched. Then this is what labor code changes have been brought. or this is the new policy of Swasth Bharat Yojana. So all these have been clubbed together and mentioned in the budget. Anyhow, Pradhan Mantri ji also said that 4 to 5 mini budgets have already been launched, as Atmanirbhar package was launched, all such things. So all that clubbed together in the budget wala thing, right? Now I'll take you to some key figures of your budget. सबसे पहले guys, you have to know that in this year of the budget, the government says that rupee comes from where, that we have to understand that, let's say if government has 1 rupee, so what amount of that, what paisa in that is coming from where. So guys, the most important chunk, most important part of the rupee, of the money that government has, comes from borrowings and other liabilities. So basically that means that a lot of money government has is actually not its own, rather it has borrowed that money. So basically this is what, that is why we have this fiscal deficit wala thing, that we borrow money, we are spending more than we have. This is what most of the economies are doing, but this was also mentioned in our economics survey where Subramaniam ji said that it is a good thing that if we can borrow money and then we can spend if we are able to book profit somewhere. So that is the concern, but again this is with all the major economies, that always expenditure has to be high and must be high. So this is what borrowings, most of the, like if government has 100 rupee, 36 1 rupee 36 paisa comes from borrowings, right? Then this is followed by guys, you see the next part is GST. 15 paisa comes from taxes, 14 paisa from income tax. So GST followed by income tax, which is followed by corporation tax, guys, right? Then union excise duties. So tax, you see government is earning a lot, right? The least is from customs, 3 paisa only, we can say. The largest chunk of the money that government has comes from the borrowings, followed by taxes, in which GSTs are the top, followed by income tax, followed by corporation tax. Then we also have money through non-debt capital receipts and non-tax revenue. So this non-tax revenue is the one which is not from taxes, right? And non-debt capital receipts is that we can say this is through like disinvestment, for example, because this is not a debt on government, rather it's a capital receipt. So this is through disinvestment. This also you should know, right? So the money is less here. This is from where the government gets money. You can keep in mind that what is the largest chunk for descriptive paper especially, if any questions on that sort comes. Now where does government spends, right? Guys, the major chunk of government's spending is on interest to payment. You see here we have borrowed, our money is coming from borrowing. Similarly 20 paisa, we can say a high, very high amount is going to the payment of interest. Either we have taken the money this year, previous 10 years, so whatever amount we have received as the liability, we are paying the interest of it, right? Which is followed by the spending on schemes, central sponsored and central sector. You see, if we form that together, 13 paisa plus 9 paisa, this together forms your expenditure on schemes, which is higher for central sector. Yes, the money 100%, the money in schemes 100% comes from the government as the central sector scheme. So 13 paisa comes goes to the central sector scheme, right? Then central sponsor is also a good thing, good amount government is spending. Then guys, moving to your finance commission and other transfer. So this is basically this and states share of tax and duty, 16 paisa. So this is according to finance commission, they say that this is what the taxes they should go to the government of the state. So this is what goes to the states, followed by this 10 paisa wala thing, right? So this is all in all. You do not need to keep in mind each and everything, but you should have a rough idea that majority of the money government is getting is through the borrowings. Similarly, the majority of the money which is going from the government is also in the interest payment wala part, followed by schemes wala expenditure, right? Okay. Now coming to the key figures, that chart I've shown you, that so that you can keep in mind what all we are going to discuss now. So guys, government proposes to spend 34,83,236 crore rupees in the year 21-22. So this is what the government is saying that they are going to spend according to BE. So this is BE. Remember in the starting of the video I told you about BE and RE wala thing. So BE is this, although RE is for the previous year it was 34,50305 crore. तो इसको हम ट्रिलियंस भी कह सकते हैं although. तो government spent higher than what they estimated. So this expenditure, the same is that government thinks that we are going to manage with this, but some emergency comes or somewhere government feels that this is necessary to spend. Let's say some disaster is there, or this year COVID was there, so they have to spend more. So this is government is planning to spend, but probably RE will come next year and we will get to know that government has most of the time we see that it is usually higher. So this year government has this plan to spend, right? Coming to receipts, these are other than borrowings wala thing, theek hai? They say that we are expected to receive this amount, 19,76,424 crore in the coming year. Again, this is higher than the revised estimates of previous year, right? What happens is that what we expect we are going to spend, government, it ends up spending more than that, and what it expects that it is going to receive, it ends up receiving less than that. I'll give you an example. In receipts, it has probably taken into account the disinvestment of all Air India and everything they have mentioned, IDBI, etc. But what if they are not able to do that successfully? So that is what happens here, right? So this is anyhow, this you should keep in mind. See, this is important for you to keep at least these important figures in mind, and also that is it higher or less than previous year. Okay, expenditure and receipts. That is why I've shown you those two charts, so that this like is imprinted in your mind. Coming to GDP growth, guys. According to the budget, nominal GDP is expected to grow at 14.4%. 14.4 nominal is real plus inflation. So inflation adjusted, this is 21-22 year. According to the budget, it is 14.4. Now do me a favor. Go to the survey and find out what was the nominal and real GDP growth expected in this particular year, right? Then, because in examination you get confused that because a question will ask, according to the union budget, the nominal GDP growth is going to be this. You end up, they will give figures, they are very smart, they will give figures of budget and survey both. You have to identify the one given by budget or survey as asked in the examination. So make a chart, write down somewhere and keep it revised. Okay? Now coming to trends in deficits. So guys, the government says that revenue deficit is targeted at 5.1% of the GDP, right? You can see this is the revenue deficit. Similarly, fiscal deficit is 9.5%. So fiscal deficit, now we are talking, you see amount in 9.5 something, you forget about 3% now. FRBM Act is now just gone. Okay? So 6.8% the budget estimate is 21-22 के लिए fiscal deficit, which will be a big deal if we are even able to fulfill that. Okay? Revenue deficit 5.1%, right? Then they say effective revenue deficit 4.1 रहेगा and primary would be 3.1%. Apart from this, guys, government said in the budget that they aim to steadily reduce this fiscal deficit from 6.8% currently to 4.5% of the GDP by 25-26. So this is what the government is saying, that they are going to achieve it by 25-26. These figures, the three I've written in the box here, all are very important for you. Better to keep all these in mind, ye wala revenue, primary or effective revenue, but these three are very important. Okay? Then guys, government actually, a little background I'll just tell you. Government was supposed to achieve the fiscal deficit of 3% of GDP by March 31, 2021, right? The fiscal deficit was relaxed to 3.5 according to the FRBM Act. FRBM Act is also important for you. This is mentioned in the syllabus. So it was relaxed, and it was the estimate that government will achieve by March 3%, and then 2022-23 में 3.1% हो जाएगा. But now this is gone, right? Government in this year 2021-22 has not set the target for 3 years. Usually FRBM के according में they give the rollout of 3 years, that in the next 3 years we are going to do it. They said that no, rather this year we have told you that our target is 6.8, and by 25-26 we'll try to bring it to 4.5%. Now they're also planning to amend FRBM Act for that reason. ठीक है? So all in all, keep this is just a background part, not very important. Most important is this thing. ठीक है? ये थोड़ा सा you should just know. I am expecting that because you have read your static वाला part, तो somewhere you are aware about this thing. ठीक है? 3% वाला part. तो 4.5% by the year 25-26 government is expecting to reduce the fiscal deficit. Acha, resources transferred to states and UTs, government says in lakh crore. You see that according to BE 21-22, 13.89 lakh crore is going to be transferred to states and UTs. So here Finance Commission, NK Singh wala Finance Commission, 15th Finance Commission comes into the picture. So recommendations unki rehti hai 13.89 crore they are going to transfer to the states. The revised estimate of the previous year, although is less, 13.14 lakh crore. This is what government is going to transfer to states. They do unko unka paisa so that they can spend. Trends in tax receipts also, guys. This you can, I have just put this graph that if, although we have discussed all these things earlier also, so please just go through them if you can pictorially, if you can see and keep in mind. ठीक है? Please read the PDF. I'll just post on Telegram channel. ठीक है? And here some major allocations. These are again in crores. That highest allocation to which ministry? So here see, Ministry of Defense has got the highest allocation. This can also be a probable question, that which ministry has got the highest allocation, right? Then similarly you can just keep in mind, ठीक है? The most important ones, Ministry of Education rakh lena in mind, Ministry of Health, Family Welfare, and the highest one I've already told you. This actually I was going through the budget wala document, so I got this there. I thought of mentioning it so that it might be helpful for you. ठीक है? So that's it, my dear friends. I really hope that you found this video useful, right? And again I want to introduce you to our EduTap Hall of Fame for all 3 exams, RB, NABARD, SEBI. ठीक है? So please see. And I wish you all the very best from our entire team, that you be here on this Hall of Fame very soon. So thank you. Please do check out our courses on our website, and do drop a mail at hello@edutap.co.in. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for being with me on this video. If you like the video, do not forget to click on like button. Do not forget to drop a comment. And thank you. Wish you all the very best for the upcoming examinations from our entire team. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.